Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Bringing advice to you in the garden with Caroline. She'll tell you what to do. Oh, don't you hesitate to get a helping hand. Oh, don't you hesitate to get a helping hand. She knows the line.
All right, 7 minutes after 9 o'clock, it's time for In the Garden with Carol Ann. Carol Ann Baldwin is here. She is your host, and she's here to answer your questions or just engage in conversation with you. Either way, you're going to have to do it by way of the phone. The number is 352-622-9622, and we welcome and invite your call. Carol Ann does this as a volunteer, so we appreciate that, and she does it for a full hour, which is also greatly appreciated. We don't have very many shows that actually go for a full hour.
No.
So give Carol Ann a call. She can answer your questions, and the number again, 622-9622. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Nice day.
Little cooler than it's been the last couple mornings, but still we got hot again.
I think the weekend, Saturday anyway, was the hottest in 9 years or something
like that. And I think I heard this morning that our average, that's the word I was after, average high right now would be like 88, and they're expecting 93.
Oh, okay.
Part of it is that hurricane.
Yeah,
I mean, and
too.
God bless those people up in Carolina. My prayers are out for them. If anybody in the listening audience has family up there, prayers and best wishes. They have a long road of recovery up there.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
That's just scary. But no, that storm just sucked all the moisture out of here. And I guess however the jet stream's running, we've got hot weather again. And without those afternoon rains, we're not getting that relief. I know yesterday afternoon we had a nice rain shower, did cool things down a bit. It rained long enough to actually cool off the asphalt and the concrete, so it didn't just turn the Ocala into a sauna. That's usually a lot of times had sprinkle of rain on Sunday, and I don't even think it actually hit the ground. I think it actually evaporated before it got there.
It went back up.
It just evaporated.
Made a U-turn.
Forget it. I can't get down there far enough. But no, it's been warm. So get anything done early, or I'd say early versus even trying to wait till the the evening hours, because it's just not cooling down very quickly.
So this is a garden show. So I have a question about the Garden State.
Okay.
What state is the Statue of Liberty in?
Everybody thinks it's in New York, but I believe it's actually in New Jersey.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. It's one of those fought over places, I think. But I think New Jersey actually pays the bill to take care of it or something like that. But New York wants to claim it.
But the state line, it makes it.
Yeah.
It's defined. Ellis Island, and Liberty Island, both in Jersey.
Right.
Just so I clarify that, because this lady on my phone doesn't believe that.
Doesn't believe that.
I don't believe everything on your smartphone.
No, especially what was it? Your
the plant identifier.
The plant identifier
oh my God,
thing.
Yes.
Had it as some kind of weed or something, and it was the. Was that the plumeria that you had? I need to close this one.
I wanted to ask you about those plants from Hawaii too. But anyway, so I have this app on my phone. I can measure things. Okay.
Okay.
So I measured the length of the table this morning. This table we're sitting at, from where I'm sitting to the end. 5 feet 8 inches is what it said.
It's a little bigger than 5 feet 8 inches. What is it? Well, including
Isn't that crazy?
Including your
Yeah, I got at least
30
3 feet here,
30,
right?
30 inches to 3 feet
Yeah.
there. And then that's another, is that an 8 foot?
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember.
All I
which
know is
one it's
I know.
yeah, it's a little bigger
How
than
tall are you?
5'8". I'm like 5'3".
Okay,
So
so
it's bigger than
so
me.
you, yeah.
Yeah.
5 inches. Come on.
Yeah.
And-
It
and-
must be it might be the lighting.
But what it has to do with what you do is the app on the phone that I have to identify plants is clearly wrong
Yes.
on a lot of times.
On a lot of different
But
things.
an uneducated guy like me might say, "Oh, that's A," and pretend I know.
and right. And just and have no idea, and then maybe even go and then try to look up that item.
Right.
And then go, well, wait a minute, that's not what I
Okay.
had. Yeah,
Which
that's
is
not
why
what
when I
took a
post a picture on your Facebook page
Right.
for In the Garden,
Right.
and you tell me what it is,
And then you go, man, that thing's dumb.
I trust you more than I trust this.
and even occasionally, I'm not always right.
What was that
but,
plant with the little
I'm trying to
the
bring
little
it.
green balls that I put on there? What was that?
With the
Oh, there was another plant I wanted you to identify too.
the one with the, because that's in your yard, isn't it?
No.
Oh,
that was in
not?
Disney. That was in Disney.
Because that one looks like the seed pods from a crinum lily.
I believe you.
Yeah, and
What was the other one I put on there though with the long stringy things? It was also in Disney. Didn't I put something on there with long stringy things?
Maybe
I didn't.
There's
post it.
one here that I couldn't see the picture well enough.
Oh, okay.
And that's probably the one. It looks like
Let me
that's
see.
a
Let me see.
it's a seed pod. Okay, now I can see it because I was looking at it.
Yeah,
on my
long
phone.
stringy
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
I'm not real sure, but I think those, when you start to get down in Orlando, there's a few trees that can be tropical that we can't do up here. So there's a few, but that looks like one of them because that's got some wild seed pods on it.
All right, we have somebody on the phone waiting patiently.
Great.
Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on there with Carol Ann.
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Oh, your phone is really, really low. Can you fix it?
How's this now?
Oh, much
That's
better.
better,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I was over at one of the big box stores the other day, and they had a closeout on grass seed. And the question I have for you is, like some grass seed is for full sun, and some is for some sun, and some is for shade. What is in the grass seed that makes them different like that?
They're different grasses, but we do not have any grasses for Florida that will grow in full shade. They just won't do it. Those are grasses that really they might do, because there was one, and I saw the jug of it a couple weeks ago. It says dense shade, and I read the label, and the label says fescue and fescue and fescue. Fescues don't grow well here, if at all. I mean, they might grow through the winter months.
Yeah.
But once summer gets hot, it's too much for them. The fescues don't go really below Georgia or the Carolinas, I think. So I mean, we are a whole different. Many of those grass seeds that you'll see contractor blends, and that a lot of times they'll have ryegrass in, and it might be quite a bit of a percentage of the ryegrass because ryegrass comes up in a big hurry. You can put ryegrass down, give it some water, and it's up and doing something within, a week, where your Bahia seed, depending on the time of year, could take 28 days before it begins to germinate. A lot of these grasses are also Bermuda grasses, which if you were up north, people would be putting the cross of the fingers at you going, keep that stuff away. Up there, it's considered a weed. Well, so is St. Augustine. But, depending on what you're after, it's always best to take a look at those labels and see, because it'll tell you the contents of what's in.
Yeah. What would you, in your opinion, what would you say is a better grass for full sun, the St. Augustine or Bahia?
If you have irrigation, St. Augustine will do fine. If you do not have irrigation and you're looking for a bit of a lower maintenance lawn, Bahia. Bahia is a hardy, tough grass. It is within the pasture grasses. I mean, the ones you buy are improved varieties. The Argentine or even the Pensacola are improved varieties of pasture grasses. But when we have drought time, yes, they will go brown, but first rain, boom, they're up and turning green again. Where some of your other grasses, if you're not irrigating, they're going to struggle, they're going to get damaged and things like that. And with Bahia, you can every year, every couple of years, whatever, get a bag or two of seed, run across the yard, and you've just thickened up the lawn. You don't have to buy sod. That's one benefit. That's another benefit, and they don't have a whole lot of pest issues. Yes, the mole crickets are a pest issue, and things, some of the underground stuff, but they don't have the cinch bugs. They don't have some of those other insects that are prevalent in what would be considered a nicer lawn, the St. Augustine or the zoysias.
Yeah, so you would be saying then that full sun grass seed would be okay, and let's say a half shade or mostly shaded area.
If it's mostly shaded, generally you're not going to get grass to grow. You might get rye to grow in the winter, and it will stay green there longer because those areas are cooler and a little more moist. But if it's truly a shaded location, find a ground cover, use mulch. If it's areas under trees, just mulch them, or a low ground cover that you don't even have to worry about mowing then.
Yeah, exactly. See, we're over 3 weeks now without any measurable rain over here in Silver Springs, and the grass is really starting to show it.
Yeah. It would be the time if you have the ability. I would probably water, just because it is this hot, as hot as it is, and it is still considered the growing season, and so you don't want to have any damage. Once it gets past about 10 days without any real rain, I would be looking at putting some irrigation on the lawn areas. The shrubs and things like that may not need it really because their root systems are so much deeper, but your turf, you can tell when your turf needs grass. Those blades begin to fold, or should you walk across it, you leave footprints behind. That it has probably really slowed down. It's not growing. If you've mowed it recently, it's not really recovering real quickly either.
I heard the other day that the aquifer, because we had such a wet spring and early summer, is closer to or near record level.
It's possible, but that's always something that can fluctuate. We never know exactly, what will happen and how much drawdown. We had a nice wet, summer so far, and the spring was kind of wet, but it's hard to say how long that's gonna stay up there. We just always have to, be conservative with what we have. Everything in moderation, even what we're taking out.
Yeah, with the dryness now, I hope we're not into the dry season already.
I hope not either. I think this is just a matter with the way the hurricane went and the way the jet stream is at the moment. It's just giving us a very dry and unfortunately very hot period right now. So let's hope that breaks here pretty soon.
Let's pray for rain.
Yes, pray for rain and the people up in the Carolinas.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Hugh. The phone number, if you want to call in, is 622-9622. And Carolyn, of course, is here all the way till 10 o'clock. So you got a good 41 minutes left.
And at the bottom of the hour, when we go for the news break, we have 2 pairs of tickets to Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. My brain just went, and with each pair, with each of these pairs of tickets, you're also getting gift certificate to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery. Only thing is we ask is that if you have won tickets to the show, please give somebody else a chance. You're not eligible to win right now.
So I have this is more of an observation and an opinion, I guess, and it's sort of political borderline. But, everybody's always arguing about global warming. Okay. So they say this past weekend was the hottest Saturday in 9 years.
Right.
That means it was as hot 9 years ago.
Right. Right. And we don't know. And I mean, they're not going to tell you when it was that hot previous to that one. So it is, our average temperature this time of year is supposed to be 88, but that's an average. What does average mean? There is fluctuation.
So it's
in
not
there.
unprecedented.
Correct.
I guess what
Correct. It would be different if suddenly, that we were way over just the actual temperature being way over, say, 100 degrees here in September. And it's like we didn't have this
Ever.
Anywhere recorded that we can find.
We have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
My name's Joe, and I grew up in Clearwater. You were talking about the plumeria this morning. And I grew up in Clearwater, and a bunch of my neighbors when I was a young kid 60 years ago had them in their yard, but they all called them frangipanis.
Same thing, yeah.
And I know, same thing.
Yeah.
Then I get to California, and they call them plumeria.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to Hawaii, and I said, "Oh, do you call that frangipani or plumeria?" And they said, "No, that's a lay plant."
Oh, nice.
And then somebody told me, and I'm not sure about this, that in China they call it the Singapore graveyard plant, and it's all the same plant. So interesting that one plant is all around the world with different names.
Exactly. And really, I believe the frangipani, I'm not sure what is on your page there, Larry, because I don't have mine open. Do they give it the scientific? Is that saying just plumeria? I believe the frangipani is actually the botanical. And so and it's another case in point of when you're looking for a plant, of knowing actually to know the botanical name. Otherwise, the name it might be called in another part of the country or part of the world is something totally different.
Right. But I mean, in this case, I recognize them because we had a couple in our yard back in the 50s.
Right. And it's very, very striking. Yeah.
It's a very striking plant. Yeah. And I recognized them, and it was just so strange that every place I went, there was the same plant,
but just with a different name. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The actually, frangipani is the scientific name is plumeria.
I had heard that
it's actually within
frangipani
adult
got its name because the bloom smelled like a perfume from France that was named frangipani. Now, I don't know whether that's an old wives' tale or something that somebody made up, but I'd heard that when I was young.
Right. There's all kinds of different stories, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's see if we find anything on that at some point. Oops. Move my page back.
Anyway, that was just most interesting to me, and I thought since he was talking about it this morning, I wanted to put my 2 cents worth in. So thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Now I want to go get some. So I should have spent my $40. Huh? So this is what it looks like. I'm pointing you to a picture for the listener's sake, and it looks like stalks.
Just sticks.
It doesn't look like seeds or anything.
No,
that's how they sell them, huh?
They take cuttings of them and allow that to heal over a little bit. You bring them home and you stick them in a moist medium. They usually are telling you to use something like a cactus mix. And I always know what people are doing when they come in and go, "Do you have any sand?" And it's like, "Well, I have a 50-pound bag." "Oh, that's way too much. Get a bag of cactus soil. I know you're growing plumeria." That's
what you call it, cactus soil?
The cactus soil has a lot of sand in it and stuff. It's like,
is it easy to take care of?
Yeah. They're not that hard to care for. They can be kept in only problem we have here is that, yes, they are sensitive to the cold. They can be a very large tree.
Really?
But it does take them. They're fairly quickly fast growers. Get my tongue untied.
And this was like a tourist thing. I mean, they were selling them to tourists, and most tourists don't live here.
Right. So but it's something you can take home and have it as a house plant. And even if it's the kind of thing that, say you're going to put it out and it's going to freeze. Say you live in New Jersey, just because.
Right.
It's coming into winter. You take a cutting and you let that heal and you plant it again. It's one of those kind of plants that you can just keep restoring and replanting it. It's not on those ones. It's not rocket science.
All right. I have the frequently asked questions. Where can plumeria be grown? The plumeria can be grown anywhere in the world, since it can either be a 20-foot tree if you live in the warmer climate, or make it a fantastic potted plant for your patio deck, screen pool, balcony, or driveway.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, it says in climates where it freezes, you can either bring the plumeria inside to keep it growing in the winter, or you can put it in the closet or basement, and it will go dormant.
And just put it to sleep.
Wow. Bring the plumeria out when it warms up next spring, and it blooms bigger than the year before. So there you go.
There you go.
Well, I'm going to
Pretty
get
simple.
one.
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll find these at garden shows and sales because there's people who collect them. You saw the page that showed all the different colors.
Yeah.
All the different flowers from them, and they're just spectacular. And
the lady selling them, she had this large display, and you could tell that they were Hawaiian lays. I guess they were stringed up that way or whatever.
Right,
and that's how she was marketing them.
Sure.
But $40, I said,
there's some they actually call what is it, the bridal flower, which I guess is a bit more spectacular in its bloom for the plumeria. But let me see, because I can bring up the images just as easy as you can. But there's so many twirls where there's whites, yellows, and pinks all in the same flower, and reds, dark. There's showing one. It looks like there's a lavender or a blue. Blue colors are not normal in nature for flowers. So when you find one that is very unique, and just some really neat. There's one that's a blue, white with yellow. So that's one of the flowers that you are going to get a blue from.
Nice.
But
so each plant has a uniform color. Like you won't get many colors from one plant.
Right. Unless, I guess if you could graft them together.
Oh my God. That sounds like work.
Yeah. Well, it's just, or you might lose a piece. That ends up being the problem is that
I've never grafted anything.
I did, but I don't know if mine ever took. I don't remember.
I feel like I'd ruin it if I tried doing that. What do you do? What's the process?
It's you're taking a root zone, a root structure, a stem with a root zone on it, and you're taking another plant of the same family, like they do it all the time with citrus. They do it with apples. They do it with where they're grafted, and you're taking a lot of times it's just a little tiny budwood, or it's a stick the same size as the other. You make a notch, you make the other one that fits like a puzzle piece. You connect them together, and the cambium layers grow together, and boom! Next thing you know, you have a
wow. And then the fruit that grows on that limb tastes different than the rest of the tree?
Will be that one. Yeah, that when you have like a cocktail tree, the citrus cocktail trees.
Okay,
your trunk
that's a man-made thing.
That's a man-made thing.
Or a man
created.
Thing.
Yeah, it's a created, right. Yeah, they don't come that way by nature.
And so if you did that with a flowering plant, it could have several different colors
on the same.
Really?
Yeah.
And I'd be afraid I'd ruin it or something.
Well, I mean, and you do take that risk of damaging it. But a lot of times people who will collect things like that, they have enough parent plant material that they could take and root, say something like a simple white one. Maybe that one's really hardy for them, that has never had any big issues or anything. And from that one, they might take some small cuttings from some other colors that they have and try to put them on.
So how come I don't see them here? Is it just something? Is it a fad kind of a thing? It just didn't catch on?
They're here. There's a lot of people who have them around here. I know a lot of people have them. It's just because of the cold temperatures we have. I think they're probably a little more as that patio plant, or they are, because I've seen them. I think our Spring Garden Festival, there was a vendor with them there. And at the flea market, I believe I've seen them. I think I've seen them people set up like what they do with the bonsai trees on the side of the road.
That's true. And, you don't see bonsai trees everywhere. But you do hear about people selling them. All right, we're up against the break. Caroline has some tickets to give away to the Ocala Civic Theater. To don't tell you, Joseph,
an amazing Technicolor Dream.
Thank you. And I went to see it. I really liked it a lot. It's Andrew Lloyd Webber, Tim Rice, so it's really, really good. It's a story from the Bible, which I never knew before. So I learned something as well. I had a good entertainment.
And we got
night.
2 pair of tickets, and if you've won before, please give somebody else a chance.
So here's how it works. We'll take a break. Call during the break. If I answer the call, then you won, period. If I don't answer the call, then I got 2 other winners, okay? Because I'm looking for 2 winners. 622-9622. Call right now. 622-WOCA. After the break, we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh says he's looking forward to clearing his name. The woman accusing him of sexual assault in high school, Christine Blasey Ford, is also invited to testify at a Senate hearing Monday.
Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says Ford's allegations ought to be treated with the utmost gravity.
I believe her. Many, many, many Americans believe her.
Their testimony means Thursday's Judiciary Committee confirmation vote will be delayed.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. President Trump's ordered the declassification of surveillance warrant applications and FBI text messages related to the Russia election meddling investigation.
Democrats like Nancy Pelosi say releasing classified material like this is desperate and dangerous. But Republican Peter King tells Fox News at Night,
American people will find out that there was no basis for these FISA warrants.
A Justice Department spokesman says they are already working on the president's request.
Fox's Sean Langell. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Pros in the know start with Lowe's, because Lowe's makes sure pros stay up to speed on the latest tools from trusted brands like Hitachi, soon to be known as Metabo HPT. Their name may be changing, but you'll get the exact same Hitachi tools, batteries, and warranty you've come to rely on for years. Until then, you'll find the Hitachi name at Lowe's. And right now, save up to 30% off select Hitachi pneumatic tools. So, pro, now that you know, start with Lowe's. Offer valid through 9/23 while supplies last. See store for details. U.S. only.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Attention WOCA listeners. Do you or someone you know have an outgoing personality with great organizational skills? Well, WOCA is looking for a few good people to join our marketing reps team. You get to meet other great people and business leaders in our community. WOCA Radio offers flexible schedules, great income potential, and some really great fringe benefits too. So if you enjoy talking to people and getting paid to do it, this may be the right choice for you. Apply within or send your resumes to careers@WOCA.com.
Welcome back to autumn. The weather is cooling off and the leaves will turn colors. At Palm Garden of Ocala, autumn is celebrated with special activities and cold weather menus, even pumpkin spice. But they do not celebrate fall. At Palm Garden, fall can represent pain and injury. If you have fallen and need short-term rehab, Palm Garden is your best choice. During autumn, the only thing that should fall are leaves. Palm Garden is located on the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
Hi, I'm Russ Moore with Pack Mill. Our relationship with WOCA started in 2009. WOCA is family-friendly, community-involved station. When we moved to our new location on 17th Street in October of 2016, of course, we went to WOCA so they could tell everybody our new location. The folks at WOCA really care about their clients and want them to be successful. For all of your shipping needs, call Pack Mill. And to tell the Ocala area about your business, call WOCA, because WOCA Radio gets results.
Hey, there's great stuff for your garden this week at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. Check bobwinescamelliagardens.net or go to the newspaper ad for ultra hot specials like these. A huge selection of citrus trees, all sizes, are half price. Same for other fruit trees, all sizes, half price. Listen to this. Famous Bob Wine's sun and shade-loving camellias, many are budded and ready to bloom. They're just $24.99 for the dwarf or regular size. If you're doing a total landscape job, check with Bob for a free estimate, and right now get 10% off all your hardscape design and installation. Tree sale too. Buy one, get another for half price. Hurry on over. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, daily till 4, Saturdays till 2, in the same blooming location since 1952.
All right, 25 minutes before 9 o'clock, 81 degrees here at the studios of WOCA at the Paddock Mall. There is a 40% chance we'll see rain today, most likely in the early afternoon. Let's return to Carol Ann Baldwin. The show is called In the Garden with Carol Ann. We're talking about gardens and lawns and dirt and plumerias. Is that what's called, Carol?
Plumeria. Don't get me tongue-tied now.
If you want to be on the show, it's easy. Just call 622-9622. And P.S. Congratulations to the two winners. Both ladies won 2 tickets to the Ocala Civic Theater.
Right.
And ladies, I neglected to mention to you that you also won gift certificates to Bob Wines.
Right.
So the gift certificates will be waiting for you here.
Right.
The theater will call you with the information about the tickets to the show. There you go.
They got all that cleared up.
Try to cover my tracks there.
There
Just
we
make
go.
sure
Yep.
because I make mistakes all the time.
We all do. We all do.
See, I don't
We
think-
leave out something. Or,
See,
yeah.
I think if you think about it, God made plants more perfect than people because they never make mistakes.
No, well, because they don't
Think about
it. I mean, they don't.
They don't make a mistake.
I don't believe they just do out their genetic. What the control system is within that seed goes forth, and that's what they do.
So Gareth brought in that little tiny plant in the
Brought you a
middle.
little African violet.
That's what it's called,
Yeah,
African violet.
little African violet.
And she's growing 2 apple trees that she adopted.
Right, she's adopted a couple of the apple trees. That's right.
Although she called them Robin and the Giant
And the
because
giant,
there was
right,
a big
'cause
one.
right, and the little one.
The little one looked like it might not be around much longer.
Oh no, is it struggling?
I have to give her a new Robin. Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. I have to give her a new one.
But yeah, African violets, and I was telling you that I have one that I rescued on the African violet thing, and
That's a
it's just blooming like crazy.
But that's a significant story for you because it kind of got you on the path, right?
Well, it was one of those fun things. I mean, it came from, I finished a Cool Whip tub, and that just threw a thing of or tub of Cool Whip, not finished a Cool Whip tub, but a tub of Cool Whip.
When you say you
last year
finished
during
it,
strawberry season, yeah.
can I ask you something? Did you finish it quickly?
No, actually, I didn't because
I can.
No, it was it
Those
went
things-
over the course of several boxes of strawberries. So
Oh, see, they go
Yeah.
quick. Cool goes quick with
yeah,
me.
well, there's not much in there really.
I put a little strawberry with my Cool Whip,
Oh, okay.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I try to get the balance on there. So. But no, and so it had thrown out that whole little bit of nostalgia back from when I was, I don't know,
A kid.
4th grade,
Yeah.
maybe, with a friend moving and an African violet in a Cool Whip tub. So I had an empty Cool Whip tub and I bought a rescue. I paid $1 for it, little tiny African violet, and it blooms like crazy.
And how big do they get?
They'll be a nice size.
Like
you
a
know,
basketball? That's how big they get. Wow.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that one there's a nice healthy one there, so long as
Well, thank you, Gareth. Yes,
yeah.
taking care of apple trees, giving us was it
Mhm.
African violet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And every so often I keep looking and seeing some of the other colors and going, I'm going to have to eat some more Cool Whip, aren't I?
Here's the
And it's fun. Well, the funny thing is I've tried to do African violets before, and I even bought the African violet pot and managed to. I probably just didn't have the right window, the right lighting, but I couldn't even grow them in an African violet pot. I put them in a Cool Whip tub,
really?
and
That
boom.
did the
But no,
trick?
I think I have the right window also now.
Oh,
but,
okay.
yeah, it could have been the other.
So here's the interesting thing about Africa.
Mm-hmm.
We never refer to any place by the continent except for Africa. Well, Antarctica, we do.
Right,
And
only because Antarctica is just Antarctica.
And the reason that's significant for me is because the climate in South America, for example, take another continent.
Right.
It is everything. It's cold, it's hot, it's desert, it's rainy. South America's got everything, just like North America, pretty much.
Right.
So Africa must be the same way. So does that violet grow in every climate on the continent? Because
I don't
it's
know
really
if that's
arid up on the
even-
north.
It's
Down in the south, it's got normal seasons. Like in South Africa, they have normal seasons.
you know what? I'm not sure the actual possibly part of Africa that they're from.
That makes sense.
With the fuzzy leaf, they are one that's gonna like it. They don't like water on their leaves, so you always have to water below. That's where the African violet pots came out. Is that they're unglazed ceramic or unglazed
So how do
clay.
they survive in the rain?
Well, it's probably that they're more from the more arid
Okay,
areas.
so they get their water from
from their root zone,
ground-
from the
groundwater.
ground
Oh.
supply, and So yeah, you don't stick them outside so they can get rained on. You dust them instead.
You dust them.
You can dust them off. Yeah. You just, if they get dusty
So
or whatever, because sometimes
sort of like a
shiny
cactus.
leaf plants like the
Pepperoni.
pepperoni. Remember that? I can never say that.
I know that because it sounds like pepperoni.
Right. Yeah, that's I always used to call them pepperoni plants. They'll get dusty sometimes, but you can take them in the shower or outside and hose them off. It's not going to hurt.
Oh, I did. Oh, so I see what you mean. I never thought of cleaning a plant.
Yeah. Well, but sometimes,
Except
if
the
you've got
plastic
some
one.
areas, you get some areas that you realize that they start looking dusty, or if it's beginning to decline or something like that, you might be looking for some other reasons why. And so, maybe it's just the plant's dirty and can't breathe, kind of thing. But with African violets, with the fuzzy leaf, they'll catch little dirt particles and stuff like that. But you almost have to take like a little paintbrush or something like that.
What is there a purpose for the fuzz? I mean, does it capture things on its behalf? Does it capture moisture? Does it diffuse light? Or does it?
It may be doing something with the light or something. I never really.
Is it protected from bugs or something?
Not that I know of. Of course, I've never. Never grown them out in the wild, they grow on the windowsill for us here. So now you're gonna make me look up African violets.
Well, isn't the internet kind of a cool thing?
Oh yeah.
Especially when you have these kinds of conversations.
And the thing is that there's so many violets out there. I mean, we have little wild violets that come up, in spring, and was always one of those things going, ooh, look, the violets are up. I mean, spring is right around the corner because they, pop up throughout the yard. And then we go out and we plant other violets or the little Johnny jump ups, the violas, but they're all violets, violas. You got the other, the African violets and things like that are just, such a different, let's see if I can find kind of anything neat on here. I mean, if anybody has some good, like I said, I grow them. I mean, I have mine. I have one. I'm not a grower. I'm not a collector, though I might get another color just because they are neat and I like the way they bloom. But why they're fuzzy? Why are African violet leaves fuzzy? So we may try to find out.
There might be a scientific reason for that.
And it, quite possibly there could be. I'm just not seeing it at the moment. See, there's grooming African violets, repotting them, all kinds of different care. Where's our Wikipedia? Is this a Wikipedia one? Perennial flowering family. Native to Tanzania and adjacent southeastern Kenya and eastern tropical Africa.
Now we know where in Africa.
Where in Africa.
Yeah.
So, and I believe, isn't Kenya and those areas, even though it says tropical.
It's in the center, right?
I was going to say it says southeastern.
Southeastern Africa?
Africa, yeah.
Okay.
But they get their common name, African violet, from their superficial resemblance to true violets, Viola family. So they're not a true violet. They just resemble them.
All right, so it's like right on the Indian Ocean, right down this corner.
Okay, nice.
There. So. The number to call in is 622-9622. We had a story this morning about going up in space. The
Japanese
guy wants to take artists with him, right?
Oh, okay.
So during the weekend, I was watching this thing from NASA, and they were saying that they've had birds in the space station.
Okay.
Part of an experiment.
Experiments. Right.
And the birds do pretty well up there. Here's the problem: when they come back to Earth, they have complete atrophy of their neck muscles.
Oh,
because they fly, for example, in space, so they're keeping their wings exercised. But
there's no resistance.
Their head just hangs.
Oh,
isn't that interesting?
Well, that's something they've been trying to study is on people. What happens to the muscles because there's no resistance.
Because we were exercising our legs and our arms and our torsos, but we weren't doing a whole lot with our necks. And astronauts even have said, you know what? It's really hard to hold my head up. Once you're out of
the negative.
Yeah. So has there been anything? Do you know of, not to throw you a big curveball, but I guess what the question is: do plants require gravity. Not that we need to worry about that because we're never going to not have it.
We have gravity here. You know what? It's one of those things that, plants grow up. Normally, they need to, they're going more for light than anything, because they have grown plants in space. They've done it. They've done it many times.
I like the explanation.
And they've taken seed out, into orbit and then brought it back and planted it to see if there was any problem with the radiation or anything like that. And nothing, I don't believe anything was ever found to be on the negative portion on that. So
I like the explanation when you were telling me why on the Ag Show they say peanuts are pagan because they come up and then they peg back down.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Not that they're pagan, celebrating Halloween all the time, but that they are pegging.
That's why we have peanuts on Halloween. I'm giving you some peanuts. This is a pagan holiday, and that's a pagan plant.
No, not really. But no, it's here we've just been rambling all over the place on the show today. This is a great, we're in between on stuff in the garden, what's going on. I did just plant what did I plant this morning? I just planted lettuce this morning. Green beans are coming up. Some radishes are coming up. I planted last week. Takes a while for the carrots to come up. Just general care, just make sure things aren't drying out with it being as hot and dry as it is.
Right.
Watering. Probably still a little early on trying to get, or planting them right out in the garden. Some of your more winter crops, your cabbages and kales and things like that, broccoli, all of those ones, you might be holding off or starting them from seed inside where you can control the temperatures they're at before you put them in the ground. But just realize those seasons are coming up. I know here it is the end of September, and we're going to be 93 degrees with heat indices over 100 degrees. So be careful out there when you are in the garden. Water early morning hours if you've got to water. But don't, just because we're not getting rain doesn't mean it's time to turn the sprinklers on every other day. Come back up onto what would be your schedule on your regular watering, maybe up to twice a week.
And you have a phone call?
Great.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have a beautiful little pitcher plant, and I've only had it maybe 2 months.
Okay.
But I have it hanging under my Drake elm.
Okay.
And it seemed happy until today. And actually, I'm just wondering, is there anything I can do to make it happier? I don't know.
Yeah. Those are tricky plants to grow. To me, they're tricky plants to grow. I've not had a whole lot of luck personally with the carnivorous plants, and I don't know if it's just because I forget about them, and then by the time I come back to visit them, it's too late. You figure we did go very dry in the last 10 days or so. So it could be that humidity is down around them, or that they're needing a little bit more moisture.
Well, I do water it.
Okay.
I have orchids hanging too.
The Vandas.
Vandas, yes. And so I water it when I water the Vandas, which is almost every day.
Okay.
Rain or not.
Okay. Yeah, I would probably on that. It might be if it's rain or not might be part of the problem. It might be if it's going to got rain, it's going to be fine. If it's not raining, it might just be a little bit too much water. On those. So I would probably be doing, check the medium before I'm putting water in, not allowing them to dry out completely, not, at this time of year, just, and then, slightly damp and then, water.
Okay. One more thing and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
I have heard that with certain like the Venus flytrap, if you put something like hamburger in it, that it will digest that. Have you ever heard that?
I've heard it, and then I also have spoken to people that say don't do that. You'll actually kill that piece off.
Okay.
Yeah, that with Venus flytraps and stuff. I'm trying to remember what the gentleman actually, he was telling me. It was very interesting. Let it do its own thing if it's in an area where insects are going to be there, because each of those little traps only lives for so long. Those traps will die off, and that's okay. It should make new ones as that plant grows. That each of those traps only has a certain amount of times that it will open and close, and that sometimes the ones, if you buy one that's already a small plant, you may find that some of those traps never do anything, that those ones just die off because they've already opened and closed enough times on that. So poking them, putting the tweezer in and making them shut, or the toothpick making, oh, looky there, watch it shut, and there's nothing for it to eat, is actually harming the plant.
Okay, right.
So moreover of allowing nature to do its thing and trying not to jostle them to where it's going to trigger that trap to close on the Venus. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
God always keeps his eye on the sparrow.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We could hear the birds in the background.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
By the way, she mentioned putting a hamburger into the Venus flytrap.
Yeah.
Today is National Cheeseburger Day, so
is it cheeseburger
you might
day?
want to choose a cheeseburger instead of hamburger for the plant.
I don't know. I'm having spaghetti for dinner tonight.
You might want to change your mind. It's National Cheeseburger
today. Might make things a little different. No, I'll have my spaghetti. I always miss those days. So it's either I find out too late.
You find out too late, yeah.
Or like this one, it's going, because I had spaghetti last night and I said, I'll have the rest of it today for my dinner tonight and at work. Spaghetti it is because it was good.
It's also National Aging Awareness Day. So while you're eating your cheeseburger, you might want to say, I'm getting so old.
Oh, no, I'm trying not to say that. I don't want to be aware that I'm getting older. No, I'm going to forget all
No, it's a day to celebrate the awareness of aging.
The awareness of being that people do age.
Yeah. National, because all ages age.
That's true. We all age. Nobody's getting any younger. Nobody gets out of here alive. Oops.
Breathing. So getting back to this Hawaiian plant, what's it called again?
The plumeria.
Plumeria. Okay. So let's see. If I grew one in here, like I was doing the apple trees, would it work? Or
probably not. I don't think there's going to be enough sun.
Okay. So they need to be outside.
They need to be outside. Or at least outside. They need somewhere where it's going to be good and sunny. So if you were going to you probably even have too much shade in your yard.
Yeah, probably.
And I know I do. I have too much shade, but I can. I got somebody brought me in a couple of starts from one of the bat plants, the Taka. Tacca, Taka.
That's a bat plant?
It's also known as bat plant, or sometimes they'll call them cat whiskers, but the one he gave me is the green. There are white, there's green, there's black. I had a black one and I killed it. Even us plant people sometimes mess up, but so I have a green one now that I'm gonna.
That's the problem with the plants. They don't all grow.
No, and people will always wonder, they'll come in a lot of times going, I bought 5 of these and 2 died. And I'm going, each plant's an individual. So I can't tell you why.
Okay, so somebody who has a green thumb, is it more like the Babe Ruth thing where, he had more home runs than anybody else, but he also had more strikeouts?
Yeah,
so is it just a matter of numbers?
It is a matter of numbers, because those of us who really like plants, we have a tendency to experiment. To buy more of them. Those who go, I have a black thumb or whatever, they may have 1 or 2 houseplants that grow well, but they won't grow anything else because everything else they've tried to grow dies.
Right.
But so those of us who have a lot of plants have a tendency also to kill off a few.
But you have a little bit of an edge if you listen to the show.
Right.
So Carol-Ann is the master gardener. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol-Ann.
Yeah, good morning again. This is Hugh real quick.
Sure.
See, I was over the weekend talking to my brother-in-law who lives up out in Northern California, where they have those beautiful sequoia trees.
Oh, yeah.
And they're very concerned about the drought that's going on for several years now, and it's projected to probably maybe stay that way, and losing these trees that are hundreds of years old.
Right.
And now their root system, a tree that's hundreds of feet high,
is
the root system must go for a mile in the ground, right?
Easy, probably, or at least as high as that is, that root system should be going down and out just about the size of those trees.
Probably reaches the water, right?
You would think it would, that if the groundwater, and I think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
He says they're so concerned about the several years of drought, and the future doesn't look good, according to the specialists out there, that the water tables are slowly dropping, and eventually these trees might die from drought. It'd be a shame.
It would be a shame, but you figure too that at some point, they were there. I don't know if they've ever gotten really good, on any of them that have, say, toppled over or been, burned, checking the rings on the ages of these trees. But what is it that's starting the seedlings? Is it fire? Is it maybe drought that will start new seedlings for them? Because the size of their canopy, probably not much can come up through, and the root zones that those are holding so much soil down. And yes, it would be devastating to that area just because of the massiveness of the trees and even holding the soil in place. But who do we know? Just because we're here in Florida, it's not something I look at too often.
I've never seen them in person. Have you?
No, I haven't. Of what helps that seed to germinate and begin to grow, because there's some things, and even here in Florida, that take fire to take off that outer coating. There's some seeds that for us as man to try to germinate them, we have to give them an acid wash, or we take and mechanically etch the outer part of that shell. So could it be that drought condition, drying that soil up, crushes and crumbles off that outer husk, allowing germination to occur on the next bit of moisture that comes through? So we don't, I'm not sure how that life cycle goes for them, but let's hope it works.
I know
like that.
When we go out to visit, we always usually go. He's got a couple of places that we go to see these trees, and it's you never seen anything like it in all your life. If you haven't seen it before, it's worth a trip all by itself. But some of these trees are so big, they got roads that run through them.
Yeah. Which of course, man has done that, and those trees managed to survive. So it's kind of, they've been there for as long as man has been here. Or at least that we know of. I mean, since man has gone to, the modern man has gone to the west coast of the United States, and I'm not sure if they, possibly can be found other places, maybe not as large, but there's a similar genus, of tree, or is this just where they're at?
Yeah. Evidently, being as high and tall as they are, it doesn't seem that lightning has much of an effect on them. I mean, it probably hits them, but it doesn't kill them.
Which is unusual, but they're also maybe not. Like here in Florida, where we are a lightning capital, the lightning just may not be as much of an issue. In that area.
Well, anyways, it's a trip worthwhile all by itself, just to see the enormity of these trees.
Yeah. Yes, it would.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks for calling you.
Yeah, I do want to see them one day. It's on my American bucket list.
There you go.
I think almost everything on my bucket list is in the United States.
Is it?
Yeah.
You see your own country.
I do want to see lots of stuff in this country. Yeah, I feel like I've seen hardly anything.
Right.
Especially in these last 20 years or so.
You spend more of your life working instead of.
Yeah. Although there's a few out of the country.
I was going to say, and you've done a few little trips, but it's usually to see family or here to the East Coast.
Yeah. I was down the West Coast one time, and it was 41 years ago.
Wow.
It's a long time ago.
It is a long time ago. Things have changed.
It might have washed away by then since then, right?
Things have changed in that
The
time.
one plant on my brother's property in Arizona is the Joshua tree.
Okay.
And it's apparently it's a bigger tree than I realized.
Yeah, that's another biblical tree.
Is it?
I believe so.
And it sounds like a Joshua, right?
Yeah. I think.
Oh my gosh! Well, we're just about out of time. Do you have to work today?
I do. So yeah, heading home to change shoes from being out in the garden.
All right, so what's my best bet with getting one of these plumerias? What's my best bet? Just go to the flea market?
I would probably look in the flea market and see. Yeah, check the Market of Marion this weekend.
That's a good idea. I think I'll go down there.
Yeah, because there's a few people that sell plants there, so check them out.
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks, Larry. Always a pleasure.
We will be right back.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. President Trump will go to North Carolina tomorrow to see damage from Hurricane Florence and get an update on recovery efforts. Daryl Bell lives in Pollocksville.
I saw somebody yesterday say we're too old to rebuild, and they got to go somewhere else and start over again. But our little town is devastated, and